This is the naked protester in the snow. Una should have downloaded that video because I sent it to her.
Fuck the dissolve off and just hard cut it off to see how you do it.
And then some see graphics. Boundary between a little bit of musical niche.
That's much, but that's old music.
How old is it?
And so the first kind of involvement I have is I come in and I basically voice the opener and the coming up bits, which are there still to come on the feed, because they're usually the bits that get sorted out first. And then it's about seeing the headlines as they come in, because basically what happens is they share around the headlines between Nick and Lan and the writers, the other Nick and Chris, and sometimes I write them as well. And then the moment like a draft is down, I go through and I do a rewrite of them, and I kind of put in my own, jokes, which are never very good. And I go through that. And so as those get done, I go downstairs and voice them so we can cut them with kind of perfect overlay. And then I start going through the links for the show. I watch the stories as they come in from the other reporters, so either the big long feature pieces, because it's obviously better to write an intro into something once you've seen it. And of course in the mix of there is all the stuff that I do, which is I go out and do feature interviews, we do tech review segments, so I'm usually kind of getting hands-on with a lot of that stuff. And of course I make my own feature pieces as well. So this week all of my stuff for the show is in post-production, so I'm really just coming in looking over at edits. The reality is it's completely unpredictable and it has to be very fluid. So I have to be able to kind of move things around in the various commitments at the last minute.
So the idea is you go away, you shoot your story, you come back, you go through all the rushes, you go through all the content, and then you sit down and start scripting. So you'll always do a paper edit of some kind to get the story structure together. And then once you've got that, you get it all into edit, which is what you're seeing there, and you massage it, move it around, restructure it on the timeline, and then you do all the pretty stuff where you put pretty pictures in and you make the sound amazing, and you put graphics in and all builds, and then you have a story.
We do daily regular segments like Hike News, which is just taking headlines of the day and making them into kind of, not parody, but a bit more lighter kind of flow. And also just working on features. We do full graphic features as well, and just bits and pieces like that.
I come in about 9:30, kind of get settled and read up on the news for the day, and then if I'm working on Breakout, they'll tell us what the story is based around pretty early on, like maybe 10. And then eventually we get a script, so based on the script I'll get some graphics together, and then once we have the voiceover, then we'll time it and animate in time. So delivery we try to aim for 6 o'clock, but it can get pushed back a bit. So I'd be lucky to finish by 6 o'clock today. But actually there were a few stories where I've had a few days to do it. It's been, and that's a lot nicer because you can really put a lot of love into it rather than frantically push it out as quickly as possible.
On a day-to-day basis, it's different things. It's doing the daily graphic segments, so I'm responsible for, relatively speaking, comment and douche of the week is assisting now those type of graphics, as well as working on features in the pipeline, which is what I'm working on at the moment.
I've probably been working on too many stories at the same time all the time. I feel like I've maybe developed a little bit of a reputation for trying to do too many things at once. They always get done. It's a hard question to answer really. There's no real kind of straight answer. Sometimes you might have like 2 weeks to work on one piece. Sometimes you might be working on 3 stories over that period of time. It really is dependent on what you're doing. So I tend to doing a lot of long form stuff, which means you get a bit more time to breathe and put the stories together. But in that mix we all do the daily stuff as well. So it's kind of a balancing act between the two.